Okay, UFC on Saturday night. It was live from the O2. Jamie O'Hara was there. Did you enjoy it, Jay?
It was amazing, an incredible event. It's the first time I've been to a UFC event. And yeah, it was fantastic. Meatball Molly, Paddy the Baddie, they absolutely stole the show. I've never seen people so like wanting to see people do well. That wasn't even a title fight, you know, like it was like 3 or 4 fights before the main event, and it was incredible. The atmosphere was amazing, and yeah.
What was your crowd, Jamie? How many were there roughly, mate? Do you know?
I mean, it was packed out, sold out. Yeah. I don't know what the O2 holds, maybe 20,000. I'm not sure, but brilliant. It was absolutely packed out. And yeah, I mean, Meatball Molly, when she come out, the fans were going crazy. They really were, and she put on a show. And then Paddy the Baddie come on, and you know he put on a show as well. It was really, really good, amazing event, and yeah, it was great.
Yeah, the main event, Tom Aspinall against Curtis Blaze, was really disappointing. After about 16 seconds, he sustained a major knee injury. So we hope that he recovers quickly with that. But it is a bit of a worry, isn't it? Self-inflicted. We had Nick Pete on earlier on, UFC expert, one of the hosts of Fight Night as well, Fight Disciple, sorry, and he is just a brilliant communicator and a real, like, really, really into his UFC and his boxing, knows so much about all of that. And he was saying, look, it could be a quick recovery, it could be a really long one, we just don't know yet.
If it's an ACL, it's 9 months, right?
We'll have to see. We'll wait to see exactly what it is. But really disappointing. Meatball Molly, she was amazing. This fight that she was involved in, Hannah Goldie, it was kind of like a replica, almost, not quite the same finish, but that sort of spinning elbow, backwards elbow.
Brutal.
That just seemed to switch the lights off for Hannah Goldie, and then she finished her off with just like a flurry of punches.
But it was a better fight for her, you know, like in the other fight it was a tough fight, and then that sort of the reverse elbow finished her. But this fight, she was a lot more dominant. She looked really good, and she went in there and straight away she was on the front foot. So and you get nervous for them, you know, like it's like when you watch your favourite boxer or your favourite football match. Like, you genuinely, I think, because everyone's got behind them, you get nervous for them. So you want them to do well, but you're still not sure how good they are because they're still proving themselves, right? It's still early days in the UFC for them, but they've just stepped up. Every time I see them fight, they're like, no, they're the real deal. They are the real deal.
It's interesting as well because as we were speaking about this earlier on, about that kind of belief that they're both getting, Paddy and Molly. Nick was talking about this, that they're kind of getting to that level now. They've got so much confidence, and they have this like unbelievable support. And they use their time in the ring not just to put on these brilliant performances as well, but to put across quite important messages.
Yep.
And a lot of people were very impressed with this. Paddy Pimblett, this is after his win. He's now 5 fights unbeaten, by the way. He beat Jordan Leavitt, who's an interesting fighter in his own right, and we can speak about him in just a moment. But he had an emotional moment afterwards. He was doing his post-fight interview, and he spoke about one of his friends who unfortunately had committed suicide a few days before the fight. Have a listen to this.
There's a stigma in this world that men can't talk. Listen, if you're a man and you've got weight on your shoulders and you think the only way you can solve this by killing yourself, please speak to someone. Speak to anyone. People would rather, I'd rather me mate cry on my shoulder than go to his funeral next week. So please, let's get rid of this stigma and men start talking.
He didn't have to do that, and he did. He chose that one moment where he was in one of the biggest celebrations of his life, another huge win, and he chose to make it about that. And I thought that was really impressive of him. Obviously an incredible emotional moment and a story that he wanted to share and a message that he thought was so important that he needed to use that big stage for that. And I think that's so credible, Jay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I know he does a lot of messing around and, you know, he has fun and he has a laugh, but he's obviously got his head screwed on as well. He's an elite athlete and he knows how to talk properly. And that was really good. I was there and it got a great reaction and he's absolutely right. I mean, you know, we all have friends who are going through problems and you can see it in some people and, you know, you have to talk to each other and check up on your friends as well, because I think that's one of the biggest things. People always say, I'm fine. Sometimes people are not. You need to get it out of them.
Sometimes they say, Ali, ask twice, because if you go up to your friend and just say, look, I noticed you're a bit down, are you all right? Initially, you're going to go, yeah, I'm fine. Ask twice, because the second time is harder to say no to. You know, if there is something wrong and someone's asking you for a second time and they're delving a little bit more, it might just be easier for you to open up if you're feeling something like that.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Would you? I think, you know, back in the day, it was seen as a lack of macho-ness. You know what I mean? If guys, there's something wrong with them, particularly mentally, certainly physically and mentally. But no, I've got to say, he's really impressive character, Paddy. You know, that was the perfect opportunity, you know, for him to say, you know, what a performance, you know, I'm doing this, I'm going to go right at the top, I'm doing the next thing. But he chose to speak about something that was clearly and understandably very close to him due to a current event, a tragic current event that he had. So, no, I think Jamie's spot on. I think he's very, very clever. They're both very likeable, really intelligent human beings, I think, you know, and as I say, they've got an appeal. Both of them have got an appeal, would say, Jamie, that I think everybody's sitting, even myself, I mean, I'm sitting watching, I'm saying, I wonder how they go on, I'm going to watch highlights of that. Yeah. Whereas before, I wouldn't have been honest, I wouldn't have been that interested.
Yeah.
Well, they're relatable, right? I mean, I think that's what people like about them. They're just normal people who are great at what they do, and they're getting better and better, and they've thrown themselves into it. Everyone's got behind them, and it's kind of like you're on that journey with them all of a sudden. So, be interesting to see further down the line they go. You know, they keep improving, then maybe a title shot, you know, when you're coming up against the real deals then, and it'd be interesting to see. But Paddy the Baddy, I have to say, he's got something about him, for sure.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.